Today we're going to go through themes. We're going to talk about survival, guilt, and intergenerational gap. I'm going to give you a brief introduction to this novel before we jump into the themes. Let's get started. The Complete Mouse is a graphic novel which depicts the story of Art Spiegelman, a Polish Jewish Holocaust survivor who experienced living in the ghettos and concentration camps during the Nazi regime. Vladik's son, Art, has transformed his story into a comic book through his interviews and encounters, which interweaves with Art's own struggles as the son of a Holocaust survivor, as well as the complex and difficult relationship with his father. Also, make sure you stay until the end of this video because I'll be giving you an essay topic that you can go and try yourself and then show you how I went ahead and created a plan and basically how I would respond to an essay topic. If you don't know me, my name's Lisa. I scored in the top 2% of my English cohort and I've been teaching students ever since. If you're serious about kicking ass in English, then I'd recommend that you subscribe to this channel and hit that notification button because I release weekly advice giving you practical, easy to understand, but effective tips to help you boost your English marks. Themes. Survival. Survival is a key theme that is explored during Vladik's experience in concentration camps and his post-Holocaust life. For example, Vladik reflects that you have to struggle for life, and a means of survival was through learning to be resourceful at the concentration camps. Resourcefulness is depicted through the physical items Vladik keeps or acquires, as well as through Vladik's skills. For example, Vladik explains to Art that he was able to exploit his work constantly through undertaking the roles as a translator and a shoemaker in order to access extra food and clothing by being specially treated by the Polish capo. He even wins over Anja's capo to ensure that she would be treated well by not being forced to carry heavy objects. Vladik's constant recounts and reflections symbolize survival, as Vladik was willing and able to use his skill set to navigate through the camp's work system. During the concentration camps, food and clothes also became a currency due to its scarcity, and Vladik was insistent on being frugal and resourceful, which meant that he was able to buy Anya's release from the, I don't know how to pronounce this, so please don't shoot me, but Kirkconnell camp. Guilt. Although survival is a key theme, the graphic novel explores how Holocaust survivors in The Complete Mouse grapple with their deep psychological scars. Many of those who survived the war suffered from depression and were burdened with survivor's guilt. This can be seen through the character of Art's mother, Anya, as 20 years after surviving the death camps, she commits suicide. After having lost so many of her friends and families, she struggled to find a reason as to why she survived but others didn't. Throughout the graphic novel, her depression is apparent. In a close-up shot, Anya appears harrowed and says that, "I just don't want to live," lying on a striped sofa to convey the feeling of hopelessness, as if she was in prison. Her ears are additionally drawn as drooped, with her hands positioned as if she was in prison, in the context that she must go to the sanatorium for her depression. It is not only Anya's guilt that is depicted, but also Art himself who feels partially responsible. Art feels that people think it's his fault, as he says that, "They think it's my fault." And in one panel, Art is depicted behind bars and that he has committed the perfect crime to illustrate that he feels a sense of guilt in that he never really was the perfect son. He believes he is partially responsible for her death due to him neglecting their relationship. Spiegelman also gives insight to readers of a memory of his mother where she asks if he still loves her. He responds with a dismissive, "Sure," which is a painful reminder of this disregard. Intergenerational gap. Art constantly ponders how he is supposed to make any sense out of Auschwitz, if he can't even make any sense out of his relationship with his father. As a child of Jewish refugees, Art has not had the same first-hand horrific experiences as his parents, and in many instances, struggles to relate to Vladik's stubborn and resourceful tendencies. Art reflects on this while talking to Marla about when he could not finish anything his mother served. He would argue till I ran to my room crying. This emphasizes how he didn't understand wastage or frugality even from a very young age, unlike Vladik. Spiegelman also conveys to his readers his sense of frustration with Vladik, where he feels like he is being treated like a child, not as an adult. For example, Art is shocked that Vladik would throw out one of Art's coats and instead buy a new coat. despite Vladik's hoarding because he's reluctant and feels shameful to let his son wear his old shabby coat. This act could be conveyed to readers that Vladik is trying to give a life to Art he had never had and is reluctant to let his son wear clothes that are inappropriate in his eyes. However, from Art's perspective, he just can't believe it and does not comprehend his behavior. Now, with all these themes in mind, the next thing is to analyze the text in a visual way. So to really dive deep into the panels, into the shading, into the metaphors and symbols throughout the text. Analyzing techniques in visuals. The Complete Mouse is a graphic novel which might seem daunting to analyze compared to traditional novels. But with countless panels throughout the book, you have freedom to interpret certain visuals so long as you give reasoning and justification, guiding the teacher or examiner on what you think these visuals mean. Here are some suggested tips. Focus on the depiction of characters. Spiegelman may have purposely drawn the eyes of the Jewish mice as visible in contrast to the unapparent eyes of the Nazis to humanize and dehumanize characters. By allowing readers to see the eyes of Jewish mice, readers can see the expressions and feelings of the character, such as anger and determination. Effectively, we can see them as human characters through their eyes. The Nazis' eyes, on the other hand, are shaded by their helmets to signify how their humanity has been corrupted by the role they fulfill in the Holocaust. When the readers see their eyes, they appear sinister, with little slits of light. By analysing the depictions and expression of characters in this way, readers like you and I can deduce how these characters are intended to be seen. Look at the background in each panel. Throughout the graphic novel, symbols of the Holocaust appear consistently in the background. In one panel, Art's parents, Anya and Vladik, have nowhere to go. A large swastika looms over them to represent that their lives are dominated by the Holocaust. Even in Art's life, a panel depicts him as working on his desk with dead bodies surrounding him and piling up to convey to the reader that the Holocaust still haunts him to this day and feels a sense of guilt at achieving fame and success at the expense. Thus, the constant representation of symbols from the Holocaust in Spiegelman's life and his parents' past in the panel's background highlights how inescapable the Holocaust is emotionally and psychologically. Size of the panels. Some of the panels in the graphic novel are of different sizes, which Spiegelman uses to emphasize the significance of certain turning points, crises, or feelings. For example, on page 34, there is a disproportionate panel of Vladik and Anya passing a town, seeing the first signs of the Nazi regime compared to the following panels. All the mice seem curious and concerned, peering at the Nazi flag behind them. This panel is significant as it marks the beginning of a tragic regime that would dominate for the rest of their lives. I'll also link you to an essay topic breakdown as well, because when you're ready to start writing your essays, this is going to be incredibly helpful for you because I show you how I analyze, brainstorm, and create a plan. In breaking down the essay topic this way, it gives you the tools to go ahead and create your own essay topic that's absolutely going to nail it. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and don't forget to subscribe. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.